Hey guys, good to see you again. I've got a little bit of a different project today. Well, it's different in that it's a little bit newer than what I've done before on this channel, but you'll see all kinds of stuff here. And it's this. Now this is a Pentium 4 machine that I have installed Windows 98 on, and what I want to do today is I want to put it in a new case. I really don't like this case, this Fry's Electronics cheap looking gross ugly case with coffee spilled on it or whatever that is, and I think it needs a facelift. So in order to help this machine look more like the kind of machine I want to have sitting on my desk, I picked up this. Now this is an IBM ThinkCentre, also Pentium 4, but it's just an empty case. There's nothing in here at all, and I'm going to take these guts and put them in here and be a lot happier with this machine. So let's get to it. Alright, so I got that stuff taken out pretty fast. I think I had my time-lapse set a little bit too far apart, so it ended up being really short there. But so here's the board, and it's nothing special. It's just a Chinese board, and it's only got 512K of RAM right now. And as part of this project, I'm actually gonna upgrade this because I did buy. This board will accept up to 2 gigs, and then I bought a couple of the fastest RAM it will take of 1 gig cards. So we should be able to upgrade the RAM on that. This is just a regular IDE DVD RW drive. This is a 5 1/4 inch floppy drive with a kind of interesting eject mechanism there. It's a it says IBM on it there. I'm not too sure. It works really well. It's a 1.2 meg drive, of course, and this is just your Sony branded floppy drive dated August 2003. And then the hard drive it has is 120 gigabyte Western Digital. So that's a pretty decent drive. Should be good. Power supply is alright. And then I had this card, this video card. Now I stuffed it in there. Now I can't get it out with one hand, so I'm holding my camera. It's an ATI Radeon 9200 128 meg card. It's a AGP interface. I had this just sitting around that I got like in a box of junk from some garage sale or something, and it's got a composite and S-video out, so that's pretty interesting. The only problem with this card is it only does up to DirectX 8, so that limits me a little bit as far as what I can run on Windows 98, because I do have some games and stuff that would run on 98, but they require like DX9 and stuff like that. But that's alright. I've got an XP machine, I can run those on, it's no big deal. So that's the guts. Now see if I can get my time-lapse setting a little bit better, and let's put this thing together. Okay, so I ran into a little bit of an issue in that this IBM case has some non-standard connectors. So this is the speaker connector, which is not going to work on that motherboard. This USB connector should work. It's got a couple extra filled-in plugs there. I'm not sure what that's about, but the USB headers on this board have room on the side, so that should work fine. But then this one for the hard drive LEDs and the power button is not going to work. So what I'm going to do is pull some of the wires off of the other case and connect them in here where they need to be connected, and then I'll have the right connectors. Alright, so that actually went better than I thought it was going to. So this is the one from the IBM case, and this was the wires that were in it. Now this is the power switch, and these are the LEDs. and the LEDs from the old case were actually the same size, and they're not clear, but that's okay. So I got those in there with the correct ends on them, and the switch, the power switch, was actually exactly the same size also, so it fits really nicely in here. So now I've got these correct ends rather than this proprietary thing. The only thing is that I don't have a spot for the reset switch, so I think I'm going to wire it in and maybe put it out the back or something, because I'm going to want a reset switch, I just know it. And I think that the IBM reset switch, or the original IBM switch here, had been wired up to be both reset and power, and I'm not sure how to wire that, and I don't really want to care to figure it out right now. Oh, and the speaker, these just came off there. I'm going to need to desolder these and solder them onto there, so that's the next thing. Well, I think I've got it together, and that ended up being a very tight build, mostly because of the clearance here. I don't know how well you can see, but all the power supply wires come out way down in there, and I tried to put the CD drive in the top, but there just wasn't enough clearance there to let the wires out. Thankfully, this floppy drive has more of a low profile back to it, so that was able to fit in there. So that was one issue. The other thing, so the ATX plate, back plate thing, I had to bend some of the tabs on it a little bit just to get it to fit in there. It does fit nice and snug now, but it did take a little bit of coercion to get it in there. The hard drive, I had a little bit of trouble figuring out how it was supposed to mount in there, and it wasn't until I noticed that there was screw mounts on the bottom that I figured out how to get that in there nice and snug. But yeah, so pretty tight. I've tried to wire the cables together a little bit there. It looks pretty messy, but I'm not going for any kind of a show build or anything like that. And I think it looks pretty good on the front. We've got the floppy drive there, the DVD drive, and that floppy. Oh, there was another issue with the USB ports. The plug not being exactly right, so I'm hoping that the way I plug those in, they're gonna work, but we'll see. And then it should be interesting to see how these LEDs look. Yeah, so another thing that I ended up having to do is I ended up having to put this as drive A and the 3.5 as drive B because of the way the cable is. It just wouldn't reach all the way up there and then back down. But in the BIOS I can switch them in the BIOS. Oh, here's another thing I did. I put the reset switch in the back here. Basically just taped it up and stuck it in this hole, so that way I can reset if I need to. Shouldn't need that too often, but it's good to have. Yeah, so that's that. Now I'm gonna put the cover on, set it up with mouse and keyboard and monitor, and see if she posts. Alright. Here goes. Nothing. Alright. Power, maybe the switch. Let's see what we're back here. There we go. That was it. Alright. Put up floppy C. Okay, swap floppy drive. So let's enable that. Put up floppy sync is disabled. I don't know, it'd be kind of fun to turn that on, then you get the floppy sync noise when it boots up, but I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Alright, so I think that's all I need. Well, let's look at see what it says about the memory. Alright, primary master, that's secondary master, that's good. Drive A is a 144, B is a 12, that's good. Save and exit. I mean, it should show the memory up here when it starts. No, it's not doing that. Too new of a computer to do that. Insufficient memory to initialize Windows. That's interesting. So something's not right with the memory. Yeah, these green and red LEDs work fine. Okay, I saw there it said memory test. Okay, it's finding it. So, is it that Windows can't do more than a certain amount? I wonder if that's it. I wonder if it's a Windows 98 can't do more than something. Alright, we can have safe mode. Let's go command prompt only. Okay, I'm going to look into Windows 98 and memory stuff. I'll get back to you on that. Apparently there's a bug with Windows 98 where if you have more than 512 megabytes of memory, it will cause it to do something that uses up all the memory and then there's not enough to load. Okay, so in 386 enhanced, I'm supposed to put max fizz page 40,000. So what this limits Windows 98 to using only 1 gigabyte is what I understand there. And then the Vcache okay. Now let's see. Okay. Alright, we appear to have booted. Let's check out how much memory Windows 98 thinks this PC has. Okay, it thinks it has a little under 1 gigabyte. Interesting. Okay. Well, at least we're getting it to boot. Now we've got 1 gig of RAM instead of 512K, and I can maybe use that other gig for a RAM disk. Plus, it's in a better looking case. IBM, so that's kind of fun. I've got a ViewSonic monitor that I'm going to be making for this computer. Well, repairing for this computer eventually. But yeah, there we have it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you guys later.